Hey-oh.
It's been a long time since we've all been together.
Woo!
I want to yell it's Friday.
We're live
and
and
No.
Live. Ready for this? One's a long one. From the Vanguard Shareholder Proposal Proponent Hall of Fame, featuring a bronze headless bust. I don't know. That one didn't land well.
It didn't land. I don't know.
It's an all-new terrific Tuesday edition of Business Pants, joined by Ari the Data Queen and analyst whole Matt Mascardi. We're all back in today's always charging but never charged battery called July 2nd, 2024, The Good Game, and Matt's data list to honor the USA. Woo.
Yeah, USA.
So patriotic.
USA.
Yeah.
Are you going to play the Star Spangled Banner? That's
no,
not copyrighted, right?
I don't even have that. No, it's not copyrighted. But I don't
It's
even
too
have
old
it.
to be copyrighted.
Just like you.
Does anyone need me to explain the joke, or should I just move on?
What the Good Game is?
No,
or the
joke, my
the
joke.
bronzed headless bust.
Okay, I don't get it.
Okay, so Vanguard has
Just boobs?
They have a shareholder proposal proponent Hall of Fame, like their favorite shareholders, their favorite proponents who put up shareholder proposals, right? And
Do they actually?
And they have nothing. It's just a headless bust. That's it. It's nothing.
Oh.
Nobody.
Oh, I see.
Now everybody gets it.
Nobody cares. I even don't care about that joke. While I was writing, I was like, what am I doing here? What am I doing with my life?
You're not supposed to admit that you're the one that does the writing.
Oh,
you're
right.
Supposed
Sorry.
to say, our writers
my
write myths.
intern from Cornell, except it's the School of Hotel Management, I think.
Oh, that explains a lot. That explains all of our writing, actually.
Our show today is being sponsored by FreeFlow Analytics, the only platform measuring board power, connections, and performance for free. You know, Matt, you were showing the platform to an esteemed user not too long ago, and they actually had some pretty good feedback for us that we're going to work on fixing. And this person questioned the news on the site. Yeah, there's a lot of curated news on the site. And I beg anyone who has questions for the news to A, shut up, but B, more importantly, to reach out. And I'm happy to explain it. It's actually a very sophisticated system of different categories, all related in some weird way to the world of ESG. They might seem silly at first, but believe me, there's a method and madness to all the news we curate.
Did you just invite them to shut up and give you feedback?
Yeah. The shut up was that's not a literal thing. That's just me being ornery.
All right, let's play a game.
Yeah, let's play a game. Time for the good game. Do we have good game music, Matt? Do we have any music for the good game?
No.
Oh, yeah.
But
Okay,
this is close
counts.
enough.
For those of you who don't know,
upbeat.
the good game is very simple. I assemble our esteemed pundits, and they help me analyze today's headlines for whether they're actually good or bad on a scale from 0 to 10. They seem good on face value, but we have actual experts here. And I'm not kidding around.
Yeah.
Ari,
This
the
is my
data queen,
favorite game.
Ari just came back from moderating a panel at the Greenfin conference at the Javits Center in New York City. Matt came back from London doing something important. He was meeting big wigs.
It was an invite-only corporate governance. It was actually. I'm gonna look. I'll say this for the show. There were directors there. I met them and talked to them.
Yeah.
And our data is correct. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
It's enough. That's enough.
All right. Ready for the good game?
Yeah, let's play the good game.
Let's start with a weird one. California is eyeing legislation. Oh, I still screwed up on the second time. That would make AI firms ensure their systems can't be used to wipe out the electrical grid or help build chemical weapons.
Oh,
I mean, this is where we are with this. This is where we are.
I don't like that's where we are. First of all, when you read it out loud, I thought you said insure, not ensure.
Oh,
and then
that's a
I was
good
like,
one.
I was like,
Yeah.
this is the most amazing headline. If they have to insure against that, they have to get pay premiums every single year. And some insurance company is going to be like, did you just wipe out the electric grid? Let's do a check. The answer is yes. Now, that is great.
This is interesting, though. This is an interesting way I'm combating these firms, though. And I don't know if this is because these companies are headquartered in California. They're probably not even incorporated in California.
I like where their head's at.
Yeah, right?
I just don't know that the legislation, like the AI firm could be like, look, we're ensuring our systems can't wipe out the grid. But like, I don't know that they're going to be like, oh, they're going to know what they're looking at. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing,
they
Ari,
have
is
a
that if
platform.
they...
Don't we have a Section 238 problem with the whole AI thing? It's just a platform.
Right.
But here's the problem. If they ensure they're not going to wipe out the grid, but they still wipe out the grid, where's the victory?
Exactly.
California's like, I told you so? Like, what's that victory?
They're going to sue, a sentient AI being?
There needs to be some people that say, I will go to jail 30 days if this happens.
30 days.
You know, you can't. Come on.
Send him to jail forever.
That's a start. That's
All
a
I'm
start.
learning,
You want to send him,
the more and
you want to
more...
give him a speeding ticket.
The more and more I cover the news and look at the stakeholders in our society, especially the ones creating regulation, is that there's only 2 states trying to protect us, and that's Massachusetts and California. Nobody else really seems to be trying. They're constant. There's constant effort on those 2 states to like do something at least. I mean, it just seems good.
I also just don't like. I can't give this better than a 6 because while I like what they're thinking, what it says about where we're at is
that's true.
I mean, we're begging dual class and private companies led by dropout man babies, begging them to please just don't turn off the electricity and blow us up. Please can you just not do that? You've already ruined democracy. You've done all. You made everyone depressed. Like teens are committing suicide at a higher rate. It's worse than tobacco. Just please keep the lights on and don't blow us up. That's what we're doing. We're begging now. I think
what Matt's saying is cash out and just go, leave. We're done with you. Just close up your company.
They should just have a fund. They already know it's going to happen. They should just tax the shit out of all these AI firms. Be like, we know it's going to happen. Give us money preemptively so we can figure it out.
I like that.
It's like Minority Report.
I'm giving Ari a 10.
Minority AI
Ari
report.
gets a 10.
You know what?
What do you give
it,
give
Ari?
this a 7.
It's funny.
Just because at least California is doing something about it.
It's funny, Matt, that you say that because it was Mark Zuckerberg who started this trend of essentially begging the government to help us figure this out because we don't know how to do it. So regulate us, right?
Yeah.
And now Sam Altman's doing the same thing.
All disingenuous. That's
you
all.
Think so?
They know the government's not going to do anything. They are lobbying to kill everything. They say at the same time they say regulate us. They also say China and like they're going to kill you if you don't let us do our thing. So the whole thing's disingenuous. We just have to. You know what? There should be no dual class shares and there should be personal liability if something goes wrong. Period. That's it.
Amen to all of that. All right. This one's a good one for you because you have a child roughly of vape smoking age, I think, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Almost 1 whole year old.
Australians, this is crazy. Australians now need a prescription to buy a vape under new world-leading law. How about that one?
I like
this. And the follow-up question, of course, is how the hell do you get that prescription? How do you get it?
You don't. There's no way to get that.
Well, I don't understand the point. Just a hurdle to get to.
That's a pretty big hurdle.
I just like the idea they have to go to a doctor and be like, "Look, I'm really depressed. Can I just vape?"
Does this mean that more people are just gonna buy cigarettes instead of vaping?
I don't think anyone. Does anyone smoke anymore in the Western world? I don't see anyone smoking anymore.
I mean, in Europe, yeah.
Europe,
do they?
It's everywhere.
But not as much.
Not
as much.
They're all their own.
Well,
sense.
you two are world travelers. I live in a nowhere
okay,
land.
French. Love it, dude.
But come on, what do you think about this, Ari? Is this you want to move to Australia now? Protect your child?
No.
No?
No, she's already given him a rolled cigarette.
They have to buy. I don't know how I feel about this.
Really?
I'm
You
gonna get
don't?
a 5.
You don't like this hurdle?
5.
A
Oh, that
I
is
don't
definitely
understand.
the wrong answer. It is an 8. It is an 8
Why?
because it's
how's this good?
because it's
Why is this bad?
simultaneously stopping. It's better than a tax, right? Because
Stop
there's a bigger
everybody.
barrier
It's
to
gonna stop
entry.
almost everybody.
And simultaneously, it's funny because you have to go to a doctor and get a prescription for this.
All right.
I love it.
Here we go. This one's in our wheelhouse. Salesforce shareholders, believe it or not, reject compensation plan for CEO. They said to 55% of Salesforce shareholders said no to say on pay. This just happened yesterday.
Wow, this is a 10, of course.
Okay.
Oh, see, that is incorrect because this is the only CEO that like is a
Mark
far
Benioff.
left liberal.
Oh.
That's
like,
true.
Like donor.
Well, we don't care who it is.
Here come the
Like,
conspiracy
they-
theories from Matt
They
Moscardi.
they say yes to pay on everybody except this guy. I mean, I know
Do you think
Salesforce.
that's it? Do you think this is a political gesture?
Well, I know Salesforce is like TSR's down. Like they have not.
That's true.
They've underperformed in the last year or two. But like Tesla's a meme stock. We gave him $56
No
billion.
one understands Tesla. Let me
So,
let me
what
just
are
say
we
one.
talking about?
Here are a few details. So his this founder, CEO, and chair. I don't know why he needs so many titles. Mark Benioff. His target long-term equity awards in 2024 last year was $15 million. This year it jumped to $44 million. Why?
Wow.
No reason for that.
Nice.
Some other details that you might find interesting, Matt. Here's how they voted on the compensation committee. The chair, John Roos, 93% yes. Neely Kroes, 98% yes. Craig Conway, 96% yes. So
There it is.
what the hell is that? What's that?
93. That's pretty low.
I know
Oh.
they really got to him. They
shamed
I'm not
him.
lying. This came up at the conference I was at. People get really upset when someone next to them gets 95% and you got 94%. They actually ask
They know what it
service providers to figure out who voted against them.
What the problem is.
Yeah, why against me and not them, right? Like that is a thing, but it is a joke because it's 93%.
Let me add
what
some conspiratorial fuel to Matt's fire here. Ready for this?
Ooh, I like yeah.
The National
bring it
Legal
on.
and Policy Center, which is Doug Chaw, friend of the show, and Doug Chaw was actually on Ari's panel, right? In the
Yeah, but he's not part of the National Legal
okay, but this
Policy
is his
Center,
least
just to be
favorite
clear.
organization. He hates the National
Yeah,
Legal
without a
Policy
doubt,
Center.
yeah.
They are the anti-woke trolls, right? They actually, I've never seen this before. They actually had a shareholder proposal for an independent board chair at Salesforce. And Matt, to your point, we were wondering, is this because Mark Benioff is a big liberal?
100%. Okay, so I got my tinfoil hat on.
Uh-huh.
But 100% yes. they definitely
I've never seen them
targeted
do this before. This
the
is
most liberal
old-fashioned
CEO
governance.
with old-fashioned governance stuff to do two things. Number one, if they were to win, right, then it's a huge feather in their cap
That's true.
because their average is 2% for, right? Like, which is abysmal. So getting 21% yes on this is a big deal for them just to bring up their average because otherwise they look horrible. But number two, you've removed power from a liberal version of a dictator. This is a brilliant play by them. Kudos to them, really. I really love it.
I also want to add that there's another shareholder proposal there from John Shevardin requesting approval of certain executive severance arrangements got only 5% yes. So the shareholders are really they really have a mixed, muddled brain.
Yeah,
all
either
I'm
going
gonna
to say
say.
no to pay, but also no to limiting pay if he gets fired,
It doesn't make any
and
Doesn't
sense.
make
yes to
sense.
everyone who sets to pay, and maybe to separating board
Well,
chair. And
no, they actually only got
CEO.
21% support for that, which is weird. I bet you a lot of people
that's a maybe.
voted no because they hate the National Legal and Policy Center. But
Yeah, that's probably
anyway,
true.
what's your
Because they're
what's your
idiots.
score, Matt? Ari already gave it a 10.
Yeah, I already scored based on
Yeah.
the headline.
Yeah,
I agree with Ari though in sentiment. It's always good when shareholders do something.
So you're gonna have to choose because on the headline alone, it's an 8. But if you know any
is
of
your
the
game.
details of
This is your
this,
game.
If
it's
you
a
have
4.
any information,
If you have
4?
any further information, it's a 4.
I'll give it
Yeah.
a 6.
Okay, good.
Moving on. Oh, how about this one? Dr. Bronner's CEO. Everyone, I think you know Dr. Bronner if you went to a hippie college like
no
I went to.
idea.
It's a soap. It's a soap company.
Oh
Do-
yeah. I know the
Dr. Bronner's
That
CEO.
oil
Ready for this
soap
one?
or
This is
whatever.
shocking.
it's a crunchy soap.
Yeah.
And the
Not the
crunchy
texture.
soap might give away the punchline here. Dr. Bronner's CEO's salary cap based on lowest employee wage, and that salary cap is 5-1. So the CEO at Dr. Bronner's is only allowed to make 5 times the lowest salary at the company.
I like that because I would put everyone at the company at like $200,000. Like no differentiation between
Okay,
anyone, and then
fine.
I'd make $1 million.
Well, we were looking at. I don't remember what company we're looking at. I think it was Snowflake. The median employee there makes a good amount of money. Like I think like $250,000. So the CEO would make $1.25 million. That's a lot of money. $1.25 million.
That's plenty. You don't need
Wow.
much more than that.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I'm going to set a policy right now at Free Float that
This
you
will not
all
happen
can
again.
get 5 times my salary.
Oh, thank
okay?
you.
Oh wait, it
You're
doesn't
all
work.
welcome
It
to
doesn't
that.
work in the reverse order.
Or when you make $0.
Come on, Ari. What do you think about this one? Come on, 5-1.
I have never heard of this before. This is awesome. I give this a 10.
It is awesome.
I don't
Ooh.
care if there are, bonuses or whatever.
No,
they
no,
can-
no.
No,
This
it
is
seems
awesome.
like it's
Ari,
capped.
you're right.
I still
Capped.
don't care.
Is this a public company, Dr. Bronner's?
Unfortunately, it's not. But whatever.
Oh, and
why is
now
this
it's a
here?
six.
Come on, we
Oh.
talk about OpenAI. They're not public.
Oh, that's because they're going to destroy the world.
yeah.
How is soap going to destroy the world?
It's not.
Organic.
By
I'm gonna give this
dying
an 8.
clean. All right,
I'm going to give this an 8. That's the right answer.
Okay, here we
because
go.
it's not-
We talked about this in another show, but Ari wasn't here. I thought, but I know she'll like this. Okay, Uber and Lyft will pay Massachusetts drivers a minimum of $32.50 an hour, and
Wow.
give the state $175 million in settlement deal over wage violations.
Yeah.
Wow.
You
Come on.
underpaid everybody. Give the state some money. Woo!
Come on. And to
Wow,
I'm
no, I
going to
didn't
juice
hear
the
about
pot a
this.
little bit here. I'm going to juice the pot. Ready for this, Ari? Also, in the deal, Uber and Lyft will allow drivers to pool together their hours to obtain access to health insurance stipend. They'll be able to get occupational accident insurance. They'll be able to start accruing sick days. And they'll also get more information about like the length of the trip and destination before they actually accept the trip, blah, 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 blah. There's just a huge win here for the drivers at
They
Uber and
weren't
Lyft.
getting the last thing? They
No,
didn't know
no, they
how long
weren't.
they were going to drive?
So now they are
What is
required. They're required Massachusetts to disclose the length of the trip, the destination, and the expected earnings before the driver accepts the ride. Yeah.
That's bananas.
Mm-hmm.
So what do they get before? They get Jerry wants to get picked up somewhere?
Look.
Like they're like take the fare or not?
Yeah, and in the honor of Massachusetts, let me just say this is another woman in charge of Massachusetts. This is Massachusetts Attorney General Andrea Campbell fighting for the workers there.
So this is wonderful, and it appears
Right?
that I will no longer be able to afford Uber and Lyft in Massachusetts.
Well, why do you say that?
So I
think
will
they're
take
gonna
public
raise-
transportation.
Wait, do you think they're
Public
going to
transport
raise
is where
the
it's
rates?
at.
You think that's what they're
I'm
going to
sure.
do?
Yes. Are you
Aw.
kidding?
on.
That
You
gets
cynic.
passed down
You
to
cynic.
you.
I think this is a 10 regardless.
Yeah, I'll pay
Yeah.
the extra, Ari.
I won't. I'll take public
yeah,
transport.
that's the wrong.
I was gonna
You're
say, I
also
mean-
going to create more carbon. I think this is a 7.
What?
Also,
how is this only a 7?
because of the things that Ari said.
Okay. Oh well, Ari's right.
Ari gives everything a 10.
But
I
Ari-
actually discount it based on things she thinks are 10 worthy.
But where Ari is absolutely correct is that if you raise the cost of those rides to the user, it does incentivize them to use public transportation. So it's another win,
For sure.
Yeah, not for the drivers.
Win-win.
and not for the bus and subway system that's already crumbling. All right, moving on. This one's for Matt. Hawaii will decarbonize its transportation in groundbreaking youth climate change settlement. This is a lawsuit brought by 13 young people alleging the state had violated their constitutional rights with infrastructure that adds to GHG emissions, to greenhouse emissions.
You see that? 13 people brought an entire state to decarbonization. 13.
Yep.
And youths.
Youths.
These are like 13 kids.
Yep.
I love this.
I love this.
This is a 10.
I love that we're seeing more of these lawsuits. So,
Ari?
10.
The part
Double 10s.
The part I was afraid to add because I didn't want to lower the score is that the state agreed to decarbonize its transportation system by 2045.
Oh,
9.
come on.
Why does it need to take that long?
I mean, like there's 7
21
cars in the
years?
entire state. Just like,
21 years? I don't understand
like,
that.
and the farthest distance is like 5 miles.
Yeah.
Like you could ride it in a horse. Like it's just no carbon.
Up next in the good game for July 2nd, 2024, Denmark will be first country to impose a CO2 emission tax on farms, a carbon dioxide
Oh,
emissions
boy.
tax.
I did see this.
Oh boy, I don't know how I feel about
Part of the
this.
reason here is to help Denmark reach a legally binding 2030 target of cutting greenhouse gas emissions by 70% from 1990 levels.
Wow.
And this is going to be just to give you a little bit more information, Ari. This is a tax on livestock farms. So this is
Okay.
these are the beef,
does
the
it matter
beefer,
the
the beefies.
size?
You know, look,
Beefies.
I know a lot of people's their initial reaction is this is going to hurt like mom and pop farmers, but let's be real, people. The mom and pop farmers don't really exist anymore. I mean,
I don't.
the vast percentage of these livestock
it because
farms
of
are huge
taxes like
companies,
these?
huge corporations.
Okay. Is it okay?
You're feeling sad for the
These are
for the
just
cow
Danish
farmers.
farms. A tax on Danish farms, right?
Yes,
Not
but
imports.
Yes, Danish farms, but again, a lot of these are controlled by huge corporate entities. This is not like
Okay.
your farmer
I'll
with the
give this
hayseed.
9.
All right.
Oh, that is wrong.
2030
That
so
is
soon.
that is a terrified 9. That's what that is.
I know she's so
That was
hesitant.
like, I'll give this a 9.
Yeah, you know, the big ag has really done its work on me. When I'm like, oh no, the little farmer is getting a tax.
The
It
little
works.
beef. Why
It
do you need?
works.
You know, there's something else they're doing in Denmark. Is I think they're spending $100 million in a campaign to get people to eat less like beef, less meat,
Yeah.
like to stop it, cut it out.
All right.
I already eat less meat, so I won that campaign.
Good, you're Danish.
But this one is.
You're troubled by this one.
I'm troubled by this one mostly because, like a lot of the Scandinavian states, first of all, are oil states. We just don't talk about them.
Yeah.
They just drill
Especially Norway.
offshore in the North Sea, and we don't
They have
talk
the
about them.
cleanest air ever.
And they send all that oil
Right.
somewhere else so that
Yeah.
their air is really clean. So, like, I guess, and Ari's right, that if they just get the beef from next door, then
That's true.
did
That's
you
true.
solve the problem?
Yeah.
I think this is like, there are other mechanisms than targeting farmers to me, but I also like semi-trust the fact that Denmark has probably looked through a lot of the options and said, well, this one will make a big impact. So I don't really know enough, so I'm going to give it a 6. I'm
Well-
just going to say 6 because that's safe. It's mildly better than 5.
Two things. Desiree Fixler hates this.
Oh, well, then I should love it.
And another thing is that this does come from Denmark's centrist government. This is not like a Green Party thing. This is a very centrist plan here. So.
Yeah, the same government that set mandatory women on boards that created the largest power gaps in the world.
No, that was
between women on the board and-
Norway. No, Norway.
Denmark was among the top
Okay,
5.
all right.
So.
Moving on. BNP Paribas.
You were on a roll up till that one. That one was just confusing.
BNP Paribas Asset Management to require portfolio companies to integrate climate into executive compensation. Ari
I don't know what that means. What does that mean? What is that?
It means that they want to add a measurable, quantifiable, and relevant to the company's sustainable development strategy component to CEO pay.
Was somebody else doing this?
No, look, BNP, I respect you. I do.
Oh.
But
But
why not pay your portfolio managers to limit carbon instead of going
What
out
do you
and
mean?
trying to vote? As in, like, so they're going to go to portfolio companies and they're going to tell them we're going to vote against people if you don't integrate climate into executive compensation. But the portfolio managers, do they have the same like
Incentive.
internal policies?
Yeah,
Do they
good
set the
question.
policies
Good
for
question.
themselves where everybody there, it's like, well, you manage a portfolio. Your job is to reduce the carbon in your portfolio by any means necessary and maximize returns. Do they say that too? And then they hinge their like giant bonuses? Because you're a portfolio manager, you're making millions a year.
we don't know that they don't. And I will say this.
We don't know that they don't.
I will say
but-
this for BNP is that just like the rest of the French, they are highly critical. They actually have a very strong vote against record. They do like to vote against stuff over there at BNP.
Yeah, they're no BlackRock or
No.
Vanguard who just hugs management.
Okay, I remembered what this reminded me of, and it was Boeing and their safety compensation thing. I was like,
Don't think
And
of
that's a
Boeing.
joke.
All right, don't think about Boeing.
Oh, joke! It's a joke. She's going with a 5.
Oh,
kidding.
okay.
Feel the 5 coming.
Yeah, people
No, I
don't
can
really
feel
like. Oh, have you voted yet?
She hasn't
Ari?
voted yet. No, I'm
I
waiting.
haven't voted.
She's
Don't
she's
sway
the-
her.
You've,
Don't sway
you've
her.
scared her with the last 2. She was like a 9, a terrified 9, and now she's going to be like a,
Don't stop swaying her.
Okay, they're pulling a lever that they can pull, so
Hey,
that's positive.
I love that
and I'm
rosy
going
attitude.
with a 7.
Okay, I like that attitude.
7.
Matt?
That's actually the right number. I'm going to give it a 7.
2 more for today's good game, and then we get on to Matt's very patriotic data list that we're all going to love. Right, Matt?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what you're going to make of this one. This is a wild card. National Harris poll finds 76% of retail investors more likely to vote their proxy if offered a shareholder perk.
What?
What do we think about this?
Perk? Like, what kind
like
of
a
perk?
loyalty rewards card.
Yeah, maybe like
we'll mail you a sticker.
yeah, like a
I
half a Boston cream donut or something. Like a perk.
Can you retail investors,
Yeah.
that investing is not like going to Starbucks and getting stars.
But it
every
could
day.
be.
It's
But it
not
could be, they're
that.
saying.
But why are we thinking of it that way? This is, you bought a share as a long-term investment in basically your financial future, and it comes with a right. But in order to exercise that right, you need what? Balloons and poppers and a small party? Just do the thing.
Sounds like your 4th of
The
July
data
party.
is
Yeah.
free at freeflowanalytics.com. You can look up every
Matt,
director
okay.
for free.
I
But
get-
getting those stars on Starbucks is so nice.
It is
Oh,
nice.
see,
I hear
and
you.
this
I
is
hear
your
you, Matt. But
problem.
what is wrong with offering them a perk? Why is
What
it, if
perk
it gets
would you
them to
offer
vote?
them? What's the perk other than democracy?
I think it
that
depends.
You want to offer 'em?
I think it depends on the company. Like Ari's example at Starbucks. Yeah, why not like an extra a spoonful of sugar in their
That is a
disgusting?
perk.
A free milk substitute if you vote.
Yes, free
is-
free
For
oat milk all
Howard
over your
Schultz.
face.
That is a perk in order to get you to spend money you shouldn't be spending. The idea of a perk is let's get you to do something you don't want to do or you don't have money to do, but we want you to do anyway.
Like, there are no perks for wiping your butt.
Yeah, there's no perks.
Oh
for
no,
me
there are
to,
perks
like,
for wiping your butt. Believe me.
There are there are actually
yeah.
perks.
All right,
no
fine.
rashes.
There are no
Yes.
perks to making your
Smelling good. Yeah.
Exactly, which is why no one makes their bed. So this is the problem. The mindset is that this isn't worth me doing unless I get something out of it, without recognizing the thing that you get
Kids doing chores.
is the thing you don't want to do. That's the perk. The perk is I spent money on a share. The perk is I get to vote. The vote is the
I hear you,
perk.
Matt. But the thing that made it sound good to me is it means that 76% of everyone who doesn't vote might vote.
Now I don't trust them to vote if they think that the perk wasn't the vote. Right?
Yeah.
I'm already I
Actually,
don't cast a vote.
The perk could even be a chance to win something. Like
Yeah.
a chance to win Coke.
Maybe win.
A bottle of Coke.
What about win a spot
Stevie
on
would
the
enter.
audit committee? What about winning a membership to the audit committee?
This is where that company that was selling proxy votes had it right, but they did it wrong. They tried to crowdsource it, right? Like try to get people to come to their platform, put their votes up for auction on their platform. If you're smart and you're like Schwab or TD Ameritrade or Merrill, you go to you send a letter to every one of anyone who owns individual stocks anywhere on your platform, and you say, we will pay you 1 penny per share to vote your shares. And you can amass enough influence to actually change companies that way. They should sell that to an activist, to somebody else. If you retail, the perk you can get is selling the only right that you have. Like if you want to just gamble, sell your rights away. That seems like a perk.
What I really want to know is why isn't their nickname Charles, and why isn't Merrill Lynch's nickname just Lynch? Why did you choose that?
Well, I was going to go Chucky Schwab.
Why'd you go Merrill and Schwab? All right, what do you think? What's your vote on this headline? Come on.
This is a
jeez.
zero.
A zero?
Yeah, this is zero.
Yeah.
You don't need a
killed
perk.
I just killed my scores.
The perk. You
Poll
morons.
finds people won't do anything unless they get
Ari,
free
give
stuff.
Give me something, or I won't
What?
even. I'm not going
Don't be
to vote
sweet,
unless you
Ari.
give me something.
Don't be
I'm gonna
swayed.
give this a 2.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that's
ruined my
right.
scores
You
for the
killed
week.
it. You killed the score with number 9. Too,
I just
with one left.
I just think it's good when we talk about voting your proxies. So I found some hope in
Okay,
this,
okay.
but I guess I'm wrong.
Give it
And
a
finally,
2.
for the good game of July 2nd, 2024, here's the headline: Oil companies in trouble as renewables suddenly mean they're producing way too much oil. The international
Such BS. I can't.
Do you think this is BS? The international
Yes, they were in trouble 3 years ago, and then every year they've been breaking their freaking revenue and profits and whatever else.
There she
Were you
is.
joking?
There's the Ari.
The International Energy Agency, which I actually don't know if they're are they do they lean a certain way? Are they
No, they're
representing
usually setting the world is on fire.
well
They're giving out that data.
they're claiming right as of today that peak oil demand should happen in 2029, and that after that, a continued drop in demand means that the supply will overshoot by 8 million barrels per day, and they're saying that's a disparity that what hasn't been seen since COVID-19. So, Ari, you
Don't
look
believe it for a
complete.
second.
Yeah, why? Why are you in such disbelief about this? I thought this was an absolute home run. This one.
This is the new, we're going to run out of oil thing that,
Well, no, they're saying they're forecasting that they're going to overproduce it.
I don't believe it. Just like I didn't believe that we were going to run out of oil.
So they're saying people stop using it because renewables are so abundant now and so easy to get,
Especially
much
solar.
cheaper,
Especially
that they're just
solar.
going to make more and more and more oil, but we can't use it.
I do believe that renewables will be
that
using it
is
more
great.
and more.
Right, right.
I agree, and I hope so, and I'm all for that. And I also think we, as the entire world, we're going to use more energy. That increase in
I see what
renewable is
you're
not
doing.
going to make
Oh, I see what you did there.
oil decrease.
I see
Well,
what you did there. Yeah,
One of
yeah.
the problems of being AI, right? AI is they need so much energy to keep that nonsense going, right? They're going to be building
Yep.
like nuclear power plants. You might be right, Ari. I mean, all the nonsense we're creating is more and more energy intensive.
This is oil company PR right here.
You think
I
so?
don't think that. I don't think
I
that,
thought
but
this
I
was
am
good.
giving
I
it a
thought this was
5.
good.
I'm going to give it a
Oh,
5.
okay,
It's a
I
5.
screwed up again. Ari, what's your score?
5.
There it is.
All right, there's a good game.
You-
Here are the scores. These are back to normal. I'm going to remind our viewers that our good game of June 11th, Ari had an average score of 9.4. I mean, I don't know. We got to look back at her diary.
was
What was happening that week that made you so happy? Were you about
That
to
was
go
a
on vacation
director
or something?
election.
Or?
That's a director election score. Is what
That's
that is.
amazing. But this week we're back to normal. Ari coming in at a 7 and Matt coming in at a 6. That's about right.
Nice.
Yeah, 6 sounds high for
That
me.
is high.
I'm feeling
Although-
bad this week.
Although no, wait, the scores are being recalculated. There was an error in. We have new scores coming in. Ari actually is a 7.5. Matt's a 6.3. So there you go. So Ari really is an
almost
8.
exactly
Really
the
an 8.
same.
That is a good game. Just some pointless fun there. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's do something patriotic
Yeah.
now.
Before we wrap up the show for the week, are we going to do any more shows this week? Is this it?
Oh, we might try to sneak a Friday in, but it's probably
Okay,
not
all
going
right.
to happen.
Matt, you have a very patriotic list for us. I'm excited.
I do. This is the America is a Public Corporation Now edition of a list throwdown.
Corpocracy.
Yeah, this is this. Look, so yesterday the Supreme Court basically said Trump is immune from everything he's ever done.
Okay, but to be fair, I mean, yes, that's the takeaway, but it's not Trump. It's the executive branch. No, it's not.
That's
Trump.
correct. Which made me. I did think, and I wrote this in my
Biden
notes,
can
that
start
Biden
killing
is
people.
also immune. He should just start shooting
They're
people.
assassinating,
Because
yeah.
as long as it's an official act, now the president is a dictator, effectively. So Trump doesn't know. He said he wanted to be a dictator for a day if he re-won. Now he doesn't have to. He can be dictator the whole time. This is great for him. But
Thank
this
God
is
he's
actually
78
something-
years old. Is all
He's
I can
just
think.
willing it into reality at this point.
This is Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell, this is his legacy. His legacy is handing the Supreme Court to conservatives by using the absolute worst political maneuvers. Anyway, we won't go down that road.
Well, we
this
just
is
did.
something
We
that
just did.
investors have known, this idea of immunity forever. for as long as there's been proxy voting. When you vote for boards and executives and the average vote is 96% for these people, no matter what they do, that is immunity, people.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Not to mention, Matt, that shareholders don't even get that initial vote to put them on the board. They get put on the board, and then at the next meeting, then you get to decide whether you
They're
like that
appointed.
appointment, right? I mean, somehow they bypass
appointed
that.
the board. So here was my list.
Go ahead.
I wanted to find anybody who was on more than 2 boards in the last 7 years.
Okay.
No totalitarian boards. Like, so this
Meaning
isn't
what?
the Zuckerberg,
Okay.
dual class, controlled company boards. They were elected in the last 12-month cycle with a 98% or better vote for them.
Which is
And-
quite high. That's quite high.
98%, 96 is the average. So
Wow.
we're talking about
96 is the average.
96 is the average. I had to go to
Ay, ay, ay.
all the way up to 98 to make this work. And they bat simultaneously over the 7 years across multiple boards in the bottom 25th percentile for both earnings and TSR. Meaning,
Oh, okay.
these are people who are getting elected at the highest possible rate. Investors agree, and they universally suck at everywhere they go. Like the companies they sit on the boards, they just underperform. So
I
you
like
ready for this list?
I like
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
There's
I'm
4
excited.
people on
I'm
this
actually
list.
excited.
This is a top 4 list.
Top
First up-
4, I would have liked 5, but it's okay.
Well,
Let's
no,
go.
5 is too round. I learned now that you're supposed to do like weird numbers, like the top
Yeah, let's
7.
do some.
Right? Like you never
Let's
do
pick a weird number, like 4.
4.
So
Send it to
weird,
BuzzFeed.
Matt. Come on, let's do it.
It's
Come on.
weird. It's weird. Rich Heyman.
Ooh, Richie
Rich
Heyman.
Heyman.
Yeah.
Richie Heyman's on 3 boards. He bats 116 on TSR. 116. That
Ooh.
means that effectively when you
Whoa.
see that number, that means across all the boards, relative to his peers, he's in the roughly 12th percentile.
That's unusually
Like that-
low, that number. Unusually
That is
low.
really low.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody basically bats in the middle, around 500. 500 is your average director, and everyone bats between 400 and 600 because that's where people clump in the middle.
Yeah, for those of you
He-
using our platform and you're looking at those performance measures, Matt is right to point out that 500 really is average in that world. So if you're
Yes.
if you're hovering around 500, fine, whatever, I guess. But those outliers, 800 or 100, that's an important
That's a
distinction.
big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. You suck a lot across lots of places. And to just as a nice topper to that, he bats .053 on earnings.
Oh, so he just sucks.
53.
At least he like his suckiness is calm, right? It's a calm suckiness. It's not like
complete.
this.
It's
Yeah.
holistic sucking.
It's not like they suck at earnings, but they're great at TSR or the other way around. He just kind of calm suckage.
It's just chill about the whole thing. He was elected in the last election cycle to the Enliven Therapeutics board with a 98.75%
Wow.
vote in the last election. Good for him. 98.75.
Therapeutics board, that makes sense.
Immune, baby. You're
Yeah.
immune.
For those of you rounding up, that's 99%. Yes.
There's no
99.
rounding in this game. There's no
99%,
rounding.
yes.
Okay, no rounding. Number 3 is Jason Wright.
Oh, Jason Wright. Okay.
Yeah, everybody knows Jason Wright. He's on 3 boards. He
Yeah.
bats 227 on TSR and 209 on earnings.
Well, everybody would
Better
know
than
Jason
Rich.
Wright if they used our platform. I'm just saying.
yes, correct. They could just look him up. He was elected to the Verint board.
Oh, I
These
know
companies-
Verint, yeah.
These are all U.S. companies, by the way. I'm just only U.S. companies. The Verint board with a 99.18%
Wow.
for vote.
That's basically
almost
unanimous.
everybody.
Basically.
Remember, these are not controlled companies, right? They're not totalitarian, meaning no one investor has more than 5% or 10%. What's our cutoff? 10% for totalitarian, I think?
Yeah.
10% of the stock. So that means there are a lot of investors who are
Matt,
saying yes
Matt,
to this person.
I think that anyone getting above 99% support that's basically a unanimous decision because there's probably a lot of fat finger no's on that vote, right?
Yeah,
It's basically everyone saying, fine, you're fine with
I
me.
actually think if you get above 98%, you should not be allowed to be on the board. I think it's too unanimous. I actually feel like they should cut them from the board.
I like
This
to
is
see.
suspicious.
I'd like to see this proposal
Stop
going on
the
a board.
steal.
I think it is stop the steal.
Do you
yeah.
promise me you'd put that shareholder proposal up somewhere?
Yeah, 90. If you're above 98%, you promise not to take the position. All right, number 2 on this list. We got 2 more.
Number two.
Tim Murphy, also on 3 boards.
Tim Murphy.
So here we've
Straight
got
outta Ireland.
Rich Heyman, Jason Wright, and Tim Murphy. Can you
All men.
picture all men and all very boring names? Nothing happening. Maybe they're confusing them.
Jason's 2 syllables. Yeah.
Well, maybe Tim Murphy. They're like, oh, are you Tim Murphy from 19th Ave, and or are you the Tim Murphy that lived with Sully in undergrad?
Yes, Rich.
I
am.
All right, 3 boards. He bats 182 on TSR. And 222 on earnings.
Ugh.
But Tim Murphy has a bonus stats. He bats .024 on controversies.
Oh, wow.
Meaning Tim Murphy's doing an awesome job, not
the
just of
headlines.
not bringing in the money anywhere for anyone, but Tim Murphy's doing a good job of doing the not bringing in the money while making lots of bad headlines and doing bad stuff on the side. He also has 3 paths that run through him to his fellow board members, so he's a little bit connected. It's nice to have some friends. And he was elected to the Western Union board with 99.27% for vote in the last election.
It's almost as if he doesn't exist. It's right. It's like, I mean, when you get that much support, are they even looking at? Are they even considering something like?
I think they confused him for someone else.
Yeah, it's like being a devout Catholic and being asked whether you want to reelect God to the board. Of course you're going to say yes to, right? I mean, that's an automatic yes.
I think he goes into, if he meets with any shareholders, I think when everyone's introducing each other and whatever, and the investor relations person this is Tim Murphy on our board. He's like, no, please call me Murph. And they're like, oh my God, 100%. I'm definitely voting for that guy. That guy just called himself Murph. And last but not least, definitely not least, the most immune director in the United States right now.
Ooh, the most
Alexander
immune director.
Wynants.
Oh, another man.
All men.
All men.
Huh.
All 4 men. Alex sits on 4 boards.
Wow.
Ooh.
He bats 232 on TSR and 245 on earnings.
Okay.
He's got a bonus that he got .009 on controversies. 009. There's like 1 person worse than him in our database on controversies. He gets no returns, and he's highly controversial, and he's got a couple of paths through him on the board that he's on. And that board,
Man, to have that job.
in 2024, investors thought so highly of Alexander Wynants' contribution, they elected him with a 99.3% vote to Uber.
Wow.
You know what, Matt? I can see what you're saying. If I were Alexander, I would be obsessed with finding who the 0.7 is.
Yes.
That voted against
Can I
him.
add something here for a little context? Probably one of the most famous athletes ever. Definitely probably the name synonymous with the sport of baseball. Most famous
Who?
baseball player ever, Babe Ruth, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably the most
I already
famous,
say someone who didn't know.
one of the most famous athletes in the history of our globe.
In this country, for sure.
Okay, but whatever. When he was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1936, he only received 95% of the vote.
Yeah, that's right.
Babe Ruth.
Alexander Wynants is
put
more
it
popular
into perspective.
than Babe Ruth.
Babe
That's
Ruth.
correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah, actually, I did. I looked at NBA players and who they voted as the greatest player of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Was it Alexander Wynants?
75% of them said Michael Jordan.
Right.
75%.
That's how loony bin these votes
how
are.
ludicrous these votes are.
Yeah.
Like if you want the definition of immunity, we already had it in corporate America. We didn't really need the Supreme Court to tell us that the president is another CEO who's immune from everything that they do. We already had it. We knew this. We knew this going in. So that's it. That's my list.
Depressing.
Good list.
Yeah.
I like that list.
It's very.
I found
like
it
you said,
uplifting,
It's very
oddly.
patriotic. It's very patriotic.
It's
There's
another
nothing
reason
more
why you
American.
need a company like ours to help you discern the differences and who to vote
Next
for.
week, Next week, I'll go through the investors that didn't vote for those people, if I can find them.
Ooh.
Yeah, if I can find that
The
list.
winners. The winners.
The ones who don't believe in immunity. That's all we got. That's Hazelnut Rallis and Ari the Data Queen. I am your analyst, Saul Matt Mascardi. We are Free Float. If you like this, we're gone for a little while. There's no proxy
Happy
countdown this
4th.
week because in this country, we're celebrating this country after we give immunity to a king. We're going to celebrate freedom in this country on the 4th of July on Thursday. On Friday, maybe we're got a show, maybe not. Next week, I'm gone. They're doing something else, but we'll be back, all of us together in 2 weeks. Until then, goodbye.